You're watching ABC7 News at 7.
No win is worth getting somebody hurt, and at the end of the day, you know, we're going to need more than one guy to win a state championship.
A pitch count for high school ball players that's supposed to prolong their careers and help them avoid getting hurt. Is this the best solution? Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Cohn, and welcome to ABC7 at 7. We'll have more on high school pitch counts in a moment, but first, our top 7 stories at 7. The Florida Senate passing a bill today addressing mental health, firearm, and school safety in the wake of the Parkland shooting, which left 17 students and teachers dead. In the area of mental health, the legislation makes changes to keep firearms out of the hands of those suffering from mental illness. A law enforcement officer taking a person into custody for involuntary examination under the Baker Act may seize and hold a firearm or ammunition from the person for 24 hours. There is also a 3-day waiting period for all firearms or until the background check is completed. People under the age of 21 are also prohibited from purchasing a firearm. Republicans and Democrats both have different views on how to handle this situation.
There are sounds that those kids can't unhear. They don't get silence anymore. It's deafening to them, it's deafening to me, and I cannot not do something.
The good news is it's not going to really do anything too much. The bad news is it doesn't do anything, so why are we taking people's rights? So that's the crux of the matter.
We'll have much more on this story coming up tonight at 11. Do you remember how dry it was last spring? Do you remember all the brush fires? Well, here we go again as dry conditions persist across the Suncoast. The first casualty is a park in Venice. Fire officials believe the fire burned 25% of the Service Club Park. It was started at a nearby campfire. The park and nearby Broadwalk just finished a $350,000 upgrade on Friday. Now much of the work needs to be redone.
We are currently assessing that situation and talking with our risk management department to see if this falls under our insurance claim policy or if this is something that will have to come out of the same one-cent sales tax fund.
The park will remain closed until it can be determined who will pay for the repairs. A fire today at a home in Nokomis. The Venice and Sarasota County Fire Departments responded to Dartmoor Circle for a fire at a 2-story home. First responders blocked out part of the road. No injuries were reported. And in a third incident, an unattended fire pit in Northport damaged 3.5 acres. Northport emergency responders were on the scene for an active brush fire, evacuating a home after the fire jumped a residential road, heading towards even more homes. Right now, all those fires are under control. It has been 6 months since a Sarasota teen went missing. Jabez Spann was last seen in September 4th of last year. There have been countless search parties, but no sign of him. The Sarasota Police Department is offering a $50,000 reward for information. You can remain anonymous by calling Crime Stoppers at 941-366. Tips. A proposal making it tougher for future state lawmakers to raise taxes narrowly cleared the Senate today, with the 3 Democrats joining Republicans in putting the measure on the November ballot. The Senate voted 25-13 to approve the proposed constitutional amendment, which has been a priority of House Speaker Richard Corcoran and Governor Rick Scott. If approved, the measure would require a 2/3 vote in the House and Senate to raise taxes or fees in the future. Democrats have concerns that the proposal would further shift tax burdens to local governments.
Nobody likes to pay taxes, but they provide us with a civilized society and community. They provide us with roads and schools and extra services that our communities need and depend on.
It's the people's money. This is not our money. We don't create anything here. We make the decisions with the money that's allotted to us.
The measure will join what's expected to be a lengthy list of proposed constitutional amendments on the November ballot. Others include a proposal to automatically restore voting rights for most felons, a proposal making it harder to expand gambling, and a proposal giving homeowners a largely property tax break. If you haven't noticed, tree pollen season is in full bloom on the Suncoast. Those greenish yellow spores covering cars and pool decks are likely a mixture of pine and oak tree pollen. Today's pollen levels in Sarasota are the highest forecasted this week by pollen.com. Doctors say people who have severe allergies that can lead to trouble breathing, sleep deprivation, or congestion are at risk of contracting more harmful viruses like flu, while their immune systems are distracted.
The nasal steroid sprays are especially useful for people who have a lot of nasal congestion.
Very bad. I know without even looking that the oak trees are blooming.
Florida has 11 different species of oak tree that contribute to the pollen season, which normally wraps up by May. A hearing on Florida's ban on smokable forms of medical marijuana will be heard by a circuit judge in May. A Leon County judge will hold a trial on May 16th to determine if the ban violates the 2016 state constitutional amendment legalizing medical marijuana. The constitutional amendment was approved by a 71% vote of voters. The state legislature banned smoking in last year's bill. The law does allow for vaping, edibles, oils, and sprays. A Florida middle school teacher has been accused of operating a white nationalist podcast. The Citrus County School District says the teacher was suspended while it investigates. Huffington Post identified the teacher using the alias Tiana Delachoff on podcasts and social media to espouse racist views. It said in one posted comment, people of some races are more intelligent than others. Now let's head over to ABC7's chief meteorologist Bob Harrigan with the first alert forecast. Bob.
Well, a cold start this morning, Alan. 47 degrees, 74. You reverse those numbers. That was our high today. And here's the rain occurring now over the lower Mississippi Valley. You can see that rain fairly heavy now in Louisiana, parts of Arkansas stretching up into the mid-Mississippi Valley. 65 degrees right now. Our current condition under fair skies. The dew point rather low at 47. And temperature is now at 58 degrees in Jacksonville, 66 in Orlando, 69 in Miami. And the evening planner calling for fair skies and temperatures into the upper 50s by 11 o'clock tonight. Well, the Futurecast is showing what we have is some showers and storms developing along a frontal system that's going to sweep on through here, and that will bring us a little bit of a chance for rain on Tuesday late in the day, but more so on Wednesday. As a cold front moves on through, we are going to see a much better chance for rainfall as we settle on into Wednesday morning. You can see that your commute and also your drop-off for your children will be a problem on Wednesday morning, but the baseball games may be saved both at the Rays spring training and the Pirates spring training. They both take place just after 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and most of the rain should be over by then. Well, the satellite goes east, is showing generally sunny skies today. We had a nice chilly start this morning, but it warmed up right around average, 74 degrees. So, Alan, things looking pretty good for us for tomorrow. A little bit cold, jackets and sweaters, and then we're on this roller coaster ride. Fronts coming through every 3-4 days, and then things chill out again.
Yeah, well, all I know is my son's college baseball game on Wednesday could be snowed out.
Yeah, I see a lot of snow. We'll talk about that in a little bit, too, up to over a foot in some places.
Right, thanks a lot, Bob. And still to come, is a pitch count for high school baseball players the best solution to help prolong their careers? When we come back.
Tomorrow at 5 on ABC7's Good Morning Suncoast.
Hi, I'm Ray Collins.
And I'm Stephanie Webb. The CDC says flu season is finally peaking, but now the focus is towards allergy season.
We'll tell you how high the pollen count could be here in our area tomorrow on Good Morning Suncoast, John.
So we're looking at an area of low pressure developing back to the west that'll eventually bring us better chances of rain showers on Wednesday. We'll talk about that bright and early.
Tomorrow at 5 on ABC7's Good Morning Suncoast. We're here for you.
Attention, Americans eligible for Medicare. Are you getting all the benefits you're entitled to? Did you know there may be money available to lower your medical prescription costs? Call Health Markets and we'll tell you if you qualify.
Hi, I'm Dr. Martin Jeetzy. It's a new Medicare year. That means more changes and more confusion. The key question is, what can you do now to ensure you get the care you need in the coming year?
Call Health Markets today. You may qualify to save money on prescriptions. We'll help you find plans that may cost less, cover more, and could even lower your prescription costs to increase your savings. We help you find all the benefits you're entitled to, and we do it at no cost.
Make sure you have what you need to get the care that's right for you.
Find out if you qualify to receive extra help with your prescriptions. Call the number on the screen now. Representatives are standing by.
Coast Guard, we are taking on water.
The United States Coast Guard. They secure our ports and waterways, protect our environment, keep drugs away from our kids, and save lives. It's dangerous work. And in times of triumph or tragedy, the Coast Guard Foundation answers the call to support Coast Guard members and their families. Learn more at coastguardfoundation.org.
Check out mysuncoast.com/dining, your guide to the foodie lifestyle.
Hoping to lower the number of arm injuries among youth baseball players, the Florida High School Athletic Association is deciding to take coaching into its own hands, setting mandatory pitch limits and rest days for young pitchers. ABC7's Adam Cellini spoke with local coaches and a player about the first year under those new rules, and he joins us now with more. Adam.
Yeah, Alan, Florida is now one of 44 states with some form of these pitch limit rules in place, and the coaches we spoke with say they're not a problem if you were already looking out for players, but the FHSAA appears to be figuring out how to punish the coaches who are not.
I actually like him.
Scott Ayers' World Series ring with the Philadelphia Phillies is something few ball players ever earn. Much more common is the scar on his pitching elbow from ulnar collateral ligament surgery, commonly known as Tommy John, a scar he now shares with his teenage son.
Right after he was told, he had to have surgery, my mind started racing thinking, what did I do wrong?
Jacob Ayer will miss his junior season at St. Stephen's Episcopal School, where Scott has been a pitching coach since 2010. Pitch limits and rest days used to be entirely his call, but not anymore. Last year, the Florida High School Athletic Association mandated its first ever pitch count policy for baseball, including maximum limits for one game and mandatory rest based on age and pitches thrown. For example, a high schooler who throws more than 30 pitches can't pitch the next day. More than 45, and the required rest becomes 2 days. Ayer is a fan of the rule.
There's way too many kids my own son's age and younger having Tommy John surgery.
According to an American Sports Medicine Institute study from 2009, 5% of youth pitchers suffer serious arm injury within 10 years. An estimated quarter of today's MLB pitchers have had the elbow surgery at some point. Braden River senior Henry Nelson missed his freshman year with arm pain, and he doesn't mind leaving games early now if it means staying healthy.
Sometimes when you get the ball taken from you, at the time, kind of frustrating because you want to stand there, but I understand. We all understand. It's just trying to keep us healthy.
Head coach Craig Page says he worried more about other teams abusing the rule in its first season last year.
You see some teams getting close, and we definitely had to be more, aware of it last year, and our bookkeeper and keeping our charts and stuff to make sure, especially in the postseason, when, guys are really wanting to win and move on, obviously.
This year, teams are able to report their own pitch counts through an app. According to the FHSAA, over 700 pitchers reported through Max Preps in the first 3 days of the season. But Page believes enforcement is still behind.
You're basically just going, on the honor system of what their scorekeeper is putting into Max Preps. It's kind of on the other team to, keep track of it as well. So everyone's just kind of monitoring itself for right now.
Pitch counts aren't the only solution to baseball's injury epidemic. Orthopedic surgeon Gary Shapiro works with several area athletes who he believes are picking baseball as their only sport too early.
Now, instead of playing a baseball and then playing football or something, we see 24/7, 365 days a year pretty much, that these kids are playing ball, and I think that is a big predisposer to the injuries.
Shapiro is confident most high school coaches are coming around, putting player safety above wins. It's the Little League coaches we need to watch closer.
And I try and tell parents, when they do come in, I said it doesn't really matter how your kid is playing when he's 12. You want to see how he's playing as a junior or senior in high school.
Ayer doesn't believe there's any one cause of the injury or one person at fault. Young players need to speak up when they feel pain, and parents need to choose their coaches wisely.
To be sentimental, if you have any attachment to the kids, you look out for them anyways.
Another example of just how many arm injuries are showing up in baseball. In the year 2014, more players had Tommy John surgery than an entire decade in the 1990s.
Wow. Adam, thank you. Coming up, so will this plan work or not? No softball questions at the trapezoid.
Florida Studio Theater presents Native Gardens. Stately gardens and cultures clash, turning friendly neighbors into feuding adversaries. When a disagreement over a long-standing fence spirals into an all-out comedic battle of taste, privilege, and entitlement, no one comes out smelling like a rose. Critics are calling Native Gardens timeless as well as timely, smart and first-rate. Audience are calling it one of the best. Native Gardens is now playing. Tickets can be purchased by calling 941-366-9000 or by visiting floridastudiotheater.org.
WWSB ABC7 is an equal opportunity employer, and we're looking for qualified people to join our dynamic team. For a list of current openings and to apply online, visit www.mysuncoast.com/contact/employment. If you're a motivated team player and you want a rewarding career in a fun, fast-paced working environment, WWSB ABC7 could be the perfect fit for you. Check out our list of openings now.
This is your brain. This is drugs. This is your brain on drugs. Any questions?
Yeah, I have questions.
Prescription drugs aren't as bad as street drugs, right?
Weed's legal, isn't it?
Drinking is worse than smoking weed.
Isn't it? Why
is heroin so addictive?
Molly just makes you feel happy.
I have questions.
Mom?
Dad, did you ever try drugs?
They're going to ask. Be ready. Go to drugfree.org. A message from Partnership for Drug-Free Kids.
We answered the call of duty and left our homes to serve in far-off lands. Now, we answer another call, this time at home, in our own communities, to respond in times of chaos, to use our strength, our skills, and our experiences to bring hope amid devastation and destruction. Together, as a team of brothers and sisters, we're continuing our mission to make this country a little stronger and a little better each day. We are Team Rubicon.
About every 3 minutes in America, someone is diagnosed with a blood cancer. Light the Night brings together survivors and supporters to bring light to the darkness of cancer and to help fund life-saving research. Our goal is a world without blood cancers, and we're lighting the path to cures. The discoveries made in blood cancer research have led to breakthrough treatments for many cancers and other serious diseases. Help defeat the darkness of cancer. Join Light the Night today.
Welcome back. It's high school baseball season, and with an epidemic of the kind of injuries that you only used to see in the major leagues, new rules are in effect to protect high school pitchers. But will they work? High school coaches now have to report the number of pitches their players throw. There's a mandatory rest. There's a new app to make it easier. But do the new rules make injuries less likely, and are there ways around the new rules? And joining us for more is Craig Faulkner, head coach of Venice High School, one of the best high school programs in Florida. And joining us by Skype from Tampa is Jared Guthrie, the best high school baseball reporter in the area, formerly of the Tampa Tribune and now with 813preps.com. Thank you for both. Jared, you have been watching I can't think of anybody who watches more high school baseball games than you do. Have you noticed any differences in the last year as these state rules have gone into effect in terms of the care that high school coaches have done in terms of making sure that their pitchers stay within the new rules in terms of pitch limits?
Yeah, I think they're paying more attention to it, but really, you know, high school coaches, it's a weird small community. They're really trying to take care of these kids. So a lot of them were already doing things to ensure that their players weren't being overused. But certainly I think that opposing teams are now paying a little more attention to what their opponents are out there throwing pitch-wise. But I don't know if I've necessarily seen a dramatic change to what teams are doing. No.
Coach, let me ask you this. I mean, what do you do in terms of, I mean, you have just a certain amount of kids on your team or any team that you really want to give the ball to. So what do you do to kind of manage how many pitches they're throwing?
Well, we know before we go into a game how many pitches we want that pitcher to throw, and we have a chart in front of us all the time that tells us exactly how many pitches they've thrown. And, you know, it's important to us that we don't overuse pitchers because wins are not as important as a kid's arm is. And, you know, they are going to have some, you know, career beyond baseball and beyond high school, and we surely don't want to mess that up.
I would imagine it's easier during the regular season when you have, you know, you could chart things up, but when you get to the districts or even the regionals where, you know, it's every kid's dream, every coach's dream to get as far as they can, you want to win those games so bad, and you know who's hot and who's not.
Well, that is important, and when what we try to do at Venice High School is we try to get a bunch of pitchers ready and bring them into situations all throughout the year so that they're ready to come in an important situation and pick up a guy that needs to come out of the game because of pitch count. But truthfully, we don't get very close to the pitch counts. You know, we watch it pretty closely. We've always, the 20 years I've been coaching, we've watched it very closely, so it's not really that big of an issue for us. You know, the issue comes in, you know, with figuring out how to, you know, see other teams, what they're throwing, what they're not, how many pitches are, and then how do you police that? You know, I think that's what the state is struggling with right now is how do you police it?
And I want to get more into that in the next segment, but Jared, let me ask you this. I mean, do you see coaches with different perspectives out there? Or what the coach was saying in terms of getting as many kids ready to pitch during the regular season so they're available with experience when you get to the district playoffs?
Yeah, I think that the coaches are paying attention. Certainly in the state tournament past the district, you know, the games have gone to once a week. So pitch counts aren't as scary there in the district per se. I think high school coaches in this scenario are getting a bad rep. Most high school coaches, especially in public schools, are doing this for a very, very small stipend, and they're about protecting these kids. So I think that the FHSA is taking a good step, but this is a much broader issue when you take into account travel ball and showcases, which is completely outside the realm of high school, and they don't have any say on what those coaches do with the young men's arms.
Okay, we are just getting warmed up, and we'll have much more on high school pitch counts right after we check the first alert weather, so stay with us.
If you're between 50 and 85 years old, call the number on your screen right now for free information on how to save your family thousands of dollars. We're Family Love Plans, and we've been helping families just like yours for over 30 years. The average funeral today can cost up to $10,000 or more, but the most you'll get from government benefits is just $255. How will your family pay the difference? At Family Love Plans, we can help you and your family. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam and your plan can't be canceled. Better still, your rate will never go up and your benefits will never go down. Get your free information about our senior plans. Just answer a few simple questions and receive approval right over the phone.
Call 1-800-707-3608. That's 1-800-707-3608.
Loaded with big laughs, colorful characters, and the songs that made the 20s roar, Bullets Over Broadway is bringing musical theater back with a bang. Your attendance is requested at the Players Center for this wild Broadway musical opening February 21st. Call the Players at 365-2494 or visit the website at theplayers.org. This is one Broadway show that is sure to knock 'em dead.
My life motto is keep moving. And as hard as it was when my husband passed away, I knew I had to keep doing what I love. Oops, coming. But I needed help with my insurance, and that's what the NAIC provides. They have resources to help you and your family make the best decision, and they'll help you to keep moving forward, just like me.
My name is Haley. I have Fragile X syndrome. I work with Chartwells at Einstein's and FAU. I like being up front and interacting with students. The students are very nice and very hungry. Having a job is a big ticket for independence.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to disabilitieswork.employflorida.com.
Our conversation on high school pitch counts continues right after we get a check on the first alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob.
Thanks, Alan. Right now we're looking at the Lakewood Ranch webcam showing clear skies out there. Hardly any clouds around at all due to the high pressure that's built in behind this cold front that moved through. It cooled us down over the weekend. Comfortable. This morning's lows, though, were a little bit chilly for some into the mid to upper 40s. You may have noticed that this morning if you were up early. We did warm to near average today. There's another cold front on the way. This one will bring us another round of some showers and even a few isolated thunderstorms, as they normally do during the winter. Although we haven't had a lot of activity with fronts and thunderstorms. There's a massive winter storm taking shape right now across the upper Mississippi Valley. You can see that heavy snow falling now into Wisconsin, Minnesota, stretching off into North Dakota. There are blizzard warnings and also winter weather warnings throughout most of the Dakotas. That's a blizzard warning, all in the red that you see there. High winds in Kansas and Colorado, as well as into Oklahoma. You talk about snow, well, it's not over yet. Winter is still holding on, and in fact has come back with a vengeance over the last several days now. And you can see some of the snowfall totals. The darker blue indicating up to a foot of snow in places like West Virginia, western portions of Pennsylvania, up to New York. This area right here near Vermont and also stretching into upstate New York could see more than a foot of snow over the upcoming 3 days as this storm system really gets going and taps into some moisture over the Atlantic. So while they're experiencing the snow, we will stay cool here. There's no doubt about it. Temperatures will warm tomorrow, but then we'll cool down for Thursday and Friday. 65 degrees right now. We have clear skies, a dew point temperature at 47, and the pressure 30.05 inches, which is high. The high today was pretty close to the average at 74. This morning's low, though, chilly, almost 10 degrees below average. So we're starting off March on a cool note while we had most of February well above average. Temperature now at 58 in Jacksonville, at 66 in Orlando, 69 in Miami, and 73. Still warm in Key West. Temperature, the Gulf water temperature at 72 last week. It had gotten as warm as 78 degrees, but now it's starting to chill out again. 67 in Mayaca City, the same in Punta Gorda, Northport, and Cortez, as well as Venice now. Temperatures holding on to the mid-60s. Tomorrow's highs will be a little bit warmer than today, but still a chilly start, and we'll warm up with plenty of sunshine. Should be another outstanding day. We'll see high temperatures in the upper 70s in Lakewood Ranch, places like Parrish, as well as into looks like even into Wauchula, temperature right around 78 degrees there. Well, the National Satellite and Radar Imagery now showing the trough of low pressure over the eastern third of the nation, and that is going to allow for a series of low pressure areas to develop and cause all sorts of problems, and it looks like fronts coming our way. So the warm weather returns tomorrow on a south wind out ahead of the actual cold front. The cold front comes down through the panhandle on Tuesday night. We'll get a few showers maybe on Wednesday morning, but the actual front will pass through right around sunrise on Wednesday, and then the colder air will filter in. Now, we could even see a few thunderstorms on Wednesday morning, but most of it should be out of here in time for the baseball games to start. We have one at the Rays Stadium, again down in Port Charlotte, and then we have another one into Pittsburgh on Wednesday as well. So we're hoping that the front clears and the rain gets out of here. It should turn cold for highs on Thursday. Looks like only into the mid to upper 60s across the area, both on Thursday and Friday. For boaters tomorrow, winds will start off at 5 to 10 knots out of the southeast and switch over to the south at 15 knots later on in the day. Well, here's the 7-day forecast. So it'll be a first alert weather day on Wednesday, a disruptive day, especially in the morning for commuters and kids getting dropped off at school. And then the cooler weather moves in, a low of 52 on Thursday morning, Friday morning in the upper 40s. We warm up quickly on Saturday. Remember to spring forward 1 hour. We lose some sleep on Saturday night, Sunday morning, and then an 80% chance for rain comes on Sunday. Alan will be back with his guests right after this. Stick around.
Credit card debt can ruin your life. If you owe $10,000 and minimum payments are siphoning away your paycheck each month, you can get debt-free in less time than you think.
I've paid $800 a month for the past 3 years and haven't changed the balance on my credit card.
Get debt-free now has a program to reduce your debt, stop the harassing phone calls, avoid financial ruin, and settle for less than you owe.
I feel like a huge weight has been lifted off my shoulders.
You're pre-approved for our special hardship program if you owe $10,000 or more. Upon payment of your new lower balance, your debt will finally shrink until you are debt-free.
My family no longer has 30 years of payments ahead of us at 20% interest.
There's no fees until you see results. So call now, make one monthly program payment, and free up your cash. Resolve your debt.
Call 800-685-6422, 800-685-6422.
Here we go. We're going to go out there in the rain. It's going to get wet. All right, here we go. Okay, quick. Oh, yeah. Yes. So much fun. Mwah. So wet.
Everything all right? Actually, you know how Tom had knee surgery? Sure. We found out Brad's been taking his painkillers. And it turns out he's been doing it for a while.
Most people don't know what to say about drugs, but we do. Visit us at drugfree.org.
Designers do it with style.
Tell me what's going on here, because
Why, you don't like my hair? The Mark and Mandy Show. In-depth design ideas.
What is up with the tuck tape here? Let's cover it up.
Amazing beauty and fashion tips.
So Halle Berry has amazing skin. Her secret is coffee grounds.
No.
Delicious recipes.
Today, I'm gonna show you a special dish that is sure to please that special someone in your life.
Watch the Mark and Mandy Show right here on your favorite channel.
Welcome back. We are talking about pitch counts in high school baseball, and joining us for more is Craig Faulkner, head coach of Venice High School, one of the best high school programs in Florida. And joining us by Skype from Tampa is Jarrett Guthrie, the best high school baseball reporter in Florida, formerly of the Tampa Tribune and now with 813preps.com. And Coach, you know, I understand the care that you take in terms of managing the pitches that your kids are throwing, but do you see that universally at every high school that you come up against?
Well, a lot of high schools, you know, definitely take care of their pitchers, but we see, you know, pretty often where, you know, pitchers have thrown an excessive number of pitches, especially early in the season. You know, we have a rule of thumb at Venice High School, your first outing, you may throw 40 pitches, and that's after, you know, several bullpens, several inter squads, then maybe the next time 50 pitches, and then maybe, you know, 60, 70, but, you know, we have seen programs, even the first outing, throw 80, 90 pitches in their first outing, especially when it's a little bit cool outside. And you know, we wonder, you know, is that going to, you know, what effect that has on the players. But, you know, for the most part, the high schools are very good at it. But we do see it sometimes, and, you know, it's hard to understand.
Jared, have you seen that? I mean, you know, you and I have been at the same games there, and as a parent of a pitcher for Wharton High School, we have seen cases where there have been kids at other schools that have thrown up to 100 pitches earlier in the season.
Yeah, I think Coach nailed it right there, talking about the best coaches are ones that pay attention to where you are in the season. And, you know, really, you're preparing for the postseason as a high school coach. It's nice to get wins, and in the regular season, that's great. Kids want to win. But you're preparing to get into the districts and into the state series. So, yeah, having kids throw more than, I don't know, 70, 80 pitches in the first couple of weeks, it's ridiculous. But the other thing we need to point out is we're in a beautiful state where we have wonderful weather all year long. And these kids, your reporter mentioned, are playing baseball 12 months of the year, whether it be travel ball, AAU, you know, those other various programs. So the onus kind of falls on all coaches to pay attention to what these kids are doing and how much they're using their arm in a given year.
And that's the rub, Coach, because, and it's also the parents' responsibility, I would imagine, also when you're dealing with travel baseball. But, you know, here's the reality. If you have a talented ball player and they aspire to play in college or professionally, you do have to play in some of those summer high school tournaments, and some of these travel teams are not the same. You're involved with the Florida Burn, which is one of the best in Florida, but there are other teams here put together by local communities, which are not necessarily run by pros like yourself. They're run by dads, and without the professional training. Is that the bigger risk than high school baseball?
Yeah, I think it can be because, travel baseball, they can play 5, 6, 7 games in 3 or 4 days because of, if you start winning, you keep moving on, and rain gets involved a lot in the summer, and all of a sudden you're playing 3 or 4 games in one day. If you're a small organization, maybe a parent's running the team, and they want to win really badly, they may overuse some kids. It's not that they want to, they just don't have anybody else to throw. Whereas a big organization like the Florida Burn, we have several pitcher-onlys, and we monitor very closely, pitchers' arms. It's really important to us because, a lot of colleges watch our players at the Florida Burn, and they like what we do with our pitchers, and they want us to take care of them, and that's really important to us that we do that.
So no doubt you want to win those games, but programs like the Florida Burn, my kid played for the Orlando Scorpions, they're about development of the player and their aspirations. They get more of a joy of seeing their kids play in college rather than maybe winning the big tournament.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It is about the kids, and with my organization and Mark Guthrie's the Florida Burn, we are about developing and teaching, not just playing games on the weekend. We want to take care of the kids, teach them the game, make sure when they leave our program they're healthy, they're better than when they came, and we put a lot of care into that. It's really important to us.
So Jared, how often have you seen around Hillsborough County and Polk and Pasco and Pinellas and down here on the Sun Coast, some of those big names out there that everybody knows about, but they come back from their summer and you hear that they're hurt, they have some kind of problem, and they never achieve in high school because they frankly have gotten hurt or burned out?
Yeah, I think the thing that kind of baffles me in this whole thing is why are the professional level and the college level players so pampered, so taken care of, and our children, the ones who their bodies are still growing, their muscles are still developing, they're out there throwing, sometimes, as Coach will tell you, his organization is great, but a lot of these travel ball organizations are not great. They're there to win games and get more kids to sign up for the teams, and they'll use kids. And then there's another thing about maximum effort. Maximum effort pitches. Take a guy like Justin Verlander. Last year he had a 9-inning start with the Tigers, and he was throwing 95 to 98 in the first inning, and he tailed off as he got tired, but then he pitched a complete game, and in the 9th inning he was out there putting one across at 97 again. There's maximum effort pitches in these showcases and travel ball where these kids are only throwing 3 innings. They're going out there throwing incredibly hard. Look at the perfect game All-American Classic last year. After being around since 2003, they set the record for walk because kids are throwing as hard as they can and maybe not accurately, and I don't know how that's developing players.
Yeah, I mean, Jared has a point there because, and I know this from personal experience, that your kid knows he goes to some of these huge tournaments where you're going to be seen by the scouts, but by both the pros and the college programs. It's not like starting in high school where you could build up to your velocity over the course of innings. You got to show it pretty quickly.
You do, and a lot of times these these big tournaments like that where they're trying to, one weekend tournament, it is at an off time because it's the only time they can run them when the high schools aren't doing their thing or whatever. And so usually off time pitchers are resting, they're not getting all their bullpens in and things like that. And then they go to one of these big showcase type events where there's a lot of colleges there, and their arms aren't really ready for that. And they throw it as hard as they can, they get a little adrenaline going, and they do end up hurting themselves. It's happened at Venice High School where some kids have gone off to these showcases and, without telling us they're going, and we're like, well, you haven't been throwing your bullpens. What are you doing? But it's hard not to, try to perform at a high level when you got all these colleges watching, even though they're not ready. So it's a difficult thing.
So Jared, when you're talking about the Florida High School Athletic Association and these new rules, Are there teeth in these rules in terms of that state organization making sure that every high school program around here are following them, and if they violate their rules, that someone out there is cracking down?
Yeah, I don't know about that. I think that this is a nice statement being made by the FHSA. They're doing a service to say that they're paying attention to these issues and they're focusing on them. And last year they implemented the rules. This year they're trying to be a little more, hey, let's pay attention to the pitch counts on a max press or a game changer or one of the internet services. But it's not a mandatory thing. And also, it's I don't know that it has the significance, again, when we talk about just how much these kids are growing that their high school coaches are unaware of.
And that's the thing. You don't necessarily know what your high school players are doing in the off season and how many innings that they have over the summer.
Yeah, we try to keep track of it at Venice High School, and a lot of them do play for the Florida Burn, so we know that. But yeah, it's important to get your rest, different times to get rest. Talking about the monitoring this, there is really no monitoring system. In other states, what they're doing is they're hiring a third or a fourth official that sits in the stands, and they keep a game changer, and that's how they monitor it. They pay them half price or something just to sit in the stands to keep a game changer. But if you had a high school game and no one's keeping a game changer that's an official book, there's no way to know really how many pitches they threw. So it's a difficult.
All right. We have to take a quick break, and we'll be back for final thoughts in a moment.
Hi, I'm Chef Bob. Watch Aprons in the Kitchen every Wednesday morning on ABC7, where we'll be serving up the most awesome dishes. Then stop by your neighborhood Publix, pick up the recipe card and all the ingredients.
My name is Stephen Campagna. We're Ben Gates and Dramus, and here is your law tip of the week. If you've been injured in a car accident, the state of Florida only gives you a specific amount of time to file a claim. So act now, give us a call.
I heard about the Detoli Cancer Center through friends of mine who had been treated here and were very pleased with the treatment.
If there is prostate cancer, we at the Detoli Cancer Center will find it using 3D color flow Doppler ultrasound.
And that helped precisely identify where my cancer was and some additional cancers that were not found during the biopsy. I would recommend the Detoli Cancer Center. As a group of human beings, they are unbelievably great.
Glasses and contacts. You need them to see, but they put such a strain on your life. Due to new advances in vision improvement technology, LASIK is now affordable for almost everyone, with procedures starting as low as $299 per eye. And over 1 million procedures performed by our trusted independent surgeons. LASIK surgery is a sensible, safe, and affordable solution to improve your vision. So call now to talk to a LASIK Vision Institute counselor and schedule your free evaluation.
1-800-813-0109.
I witnessed him have 2 heart attacks in ICU. He went through seizures.
We'd much rather have Aaron like this than dead. A lot of parents don't have that luxury.
He can't talk. He can't walk. This is a condition Aaron will live with for the rest of his life because he abused prescription pills.
Mind your meds. Learn more from the Partnership for Drug-Free Kids.
Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com, your guide to the foodie lifestyle. ABC7's own Chef Judy serves up her favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blogs, step-by-step videos, and Suncoast Restaurant Guide. You'll find it all at mysuncoast.com/dining.
And our guests join us right now for final thoughts. So Jared, let me start with you as somebody who, as I said at the outset, you probably watch more high school baseball games than just about anybody I know. How has the culture changed in terms of trying to make sure that these kids are not throwing more pitches than they should be at their stage in their young careers?
I think it should change more. I don't know that it's changed significantly because of this rule. I think it's getting people talking, and that's important. But these kids, whether it's the parents and the kids and the coaches from all levels, high school and travel ball, they need to do a better job, like we talked about. We're protecting the professionals and the college kids by only having them throw once a week. We need to start doing that with our students and our young kids.
And Coach, I want to give you an opportunity to plug a real special day at Venice High School baseball, but also, you know, Jared has a point. You know, at the pro level, they are so careful about their pitchers and what they can and cannot do, but in many programs, unfortunately, it's really not the same.
Yeah, but I do think this pitch count does help. This pitch count rules do help, especially when you throw over 30 pitches you can't throw the next day and things like that. That comes into play quite a bit. So I think it will help. It makes people definitely more aware of what's going on. So I think it is a really good step into to helping kids' arms.
And quickly, the Venice High School veteran.
Yeah, if you want to see baseball at its finest, we have a Veterans Night where we invite all the veterans and their families in our park on April 7th to come in free. It's a 5 o'clock game. We'll have fireworks. We'll feed the veterans. We give them hats. We give them baseballs. It's a fun night. It's the way it's supposed to be in high school. Hopefully we'll see some veterans there. We usually have over 100 veterans.
All right, thanks a lot. FYI, you can watch past discussions on demand. They're available on Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and Roku. And for the latest on local breaking news, don't forget to download the updated version of our app. If your current app doesn't work, it's expired, just go to the App Store and re-download it by searching for WWSB or My Suncoast. We want to thank both our guests for being here tonight. Craig Faulkner is the head coach of Venice High School, and joining us by Skype from Tampa is Jared Guthrie, formerly of the Tampa Tribune and now with 813preps.com. When we return, we'll have a final look at your First Alert weather. Plus, what do congressional Republicans think of President Trump's comments on a possible trade war? Stay with us.
I'm calling in regards about my mother, and I'm here, and I just want to thank you because it saved my mother's life yesterday. And I'd like to know the names of the people that came in and saved her so I could call and thank them. And she's doing fine. It's a wonderful thing. Thank you.
When you fall and cannot get up, an accident can turn into a tragedy. But with Life Alert, one touch of a button can get you help fast. Life Alert saves a person from a catastrophe every 10 minutes.
Life Alert is a lifesaver. If it weren't for Life Alert, I wouldn't be sitting here today.
For a free Life Alert brochure, call 1-800-652-3012. That's 1-800-652-3012. Call now, 1-800-652-3012. For a free brochure, call 1-800-652-3012.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
I owed the IRS $20,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
We saved our home and overcame the most powerful collection agency in the world.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions Now.
Call 1-800-565-7740. That's 1-800-565-7740.
Your primetime headlines are coming up in a moment, but right now let's get a final check on your First Alert forecast from Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob.
Thanks, Alan, and a beautiful sunset on this gorgeous afternoon. Now, the morning was a little on the chilly side with temperatures in the mid to upper 40s, but we warmed up to near seasonal averages, basically into the mid 70s, and a beautiful clear sky tonight. There are some changes on the way, though. We're in a progressive pattern now. Every several days, it appears, there will be a storm developing in the trough of the jet stream, which has now shifted to the eastern United States, which means the storm track is going to be having a little bit more impact on our weather as opposed to the western U.S. All last week. Now, that storm is bringing in generating snow already, which is causing all sorts of concerns with blizzard warnings through the Dakotas and winter weather advisories throughout Wisconsin and into Minnesota tonight. Minneapolis getting some heavy snowfall spreading off toward Milwaukee and Chicago this evening. And then the attendant cold front stretching all the way down into Texas tonight. Some pretty big storms now moving through East Texas, central portions of Louisiana tonight. Looks as though it'll be mainly rainfall for us when it moves through on Wednesday morning, but we could still see a few isolated thunderstorms as well. As temperature right now, 65 degrees at the Sarasota Bradenton Airport, and as the current conditions go, the dew point temperature 47 and winds out of the west-northwest at 8, and the pressure 30.03 inches at this time. And that's still high pressure is dominating our weather. It will do so for one more day, and then that cold front will slip in. As I mentioned, Wednesday, winds out of the west-northwest at 8, and those winds will start to pick up too in advance of that frontal system. So look for windier weather as we move through midweek. Temperatures currently from Holmes Beach, 67 degrees to Longboat Key. Bradenton, you're at 66 in the Meadows, and 65 now Lake Sarasota. Laurel Oak, the same, and 66 in Northport and in Inglewood, as well as Port Charlotte. Well, the day planner looks like this for Tuesday, a beautiful day. We'll start off a little bit cool into the upper 40s to low 50s. That's about 4 to 5 degrees below average, and then we'll warm up into the mid 70s near the beaches, upper 70s east of I-75 with lots of sunshine around once again with increasing clouds late Tuesday night and then Wednesday morning. Well, that storm that caused all sorts of headaches over the Northeast slowly moving off into the Atlantic now. It was a hurricane as far as the pressure readings go, but again, it did cause some considerable damage to the Northeast and the eastern seaboard there. This is the next storm system now developing, and what it's going to do is it's going to throw that cold front our way, but until then, we'll start to see winds switch around to the south and west out ahead of the actual cold front that starts to move through the panhandle of Florida on Tuesday midday. And then that warmer weather kind of slips off to the east. Here comes the front. This is 1 a.m. and we may see a few early morning showers, but the best chance for some more concentrated rainfall occurs just after sunrise on Wednesday morning, and that continues till about midday. And it should clear out of here. It should clear out of here by, say, noon, and then the colder air to filter in. For Thursday and Friday, we'll see high temperatures only into the 60s on both those days. Now, as far as the rainfall forecast goes, one particular model suggesting that we'll see up to about a ½ inch in most areas with that rain. Some isolated areas could get as much as an inch of rain. We could use it. We haven't had much rain at all this year. And as far as the GFS goes for the extended forecast, well, here comes the next cold front due to arrive on Sunday morning and bring with it a good chance for some more widespread rain and keep temperatures cool to start the work week off next week. So for boaters tomorrow, winds will be southeasterly at 5 to 10 knots, picking up to 15 knots in the afternoon, and a moderate chop on the bays and inland waters. The 7-day forecast calling for a 70% chance for rain on Wednesday morning. That's the first alert weather day, meaning it's going to be disruptive for you. And then we lose an hour on Saturday night, and then we gain a lot of showers, though, and a few thunderstorms on Sunday as the next cold front moves through. Alan will be back with primetime headlines right after this. Stick around.
Rugs as Art. You know the name, you know the building, but do you know what's inside? Yes, Rugs as Art is Florida's #1 area rug superstore, but there is so much more. Amazing furniture, accessories, and art. All this and more. Come see for yourself. You'll love our personal touch and be pleasantly surprised by our affordable prices. Rugs as Art and more. There is so much more to explore.
Thank you.
What are you doing? You are the best protection she has. Buddy up. I'm Jill Harrington. Please visit HelpSaveTheNextGirl.com and get involved.
Soldiers in the Army National Guard live up to a set of time-honored principles.
I will always place the mission first.
They stand ready to respond to any crisis.
I will never accept defeat.
They serve in their communities as citizens and as soldiers.
I will never quit.
They train part-time to be ready to serve at all times.
I will never leave a fallen comrade.
Learn more at NationalGuard.com.
Want the latest weather and traffic conditions wherever you go? Introducing ABC7's revolutionary new First Alert weather app. With our state-of-the-art new weather app, you get up-to-the-minute weather alerts, interactive radar maps, current conditions, 10-day forecasts, real-time traffic maps, and weather video from ABC7, all at your fingertips. And it's free. Just search Suncoast WX in the App Store and download onto all your devices today. Sponsored by Mr. Sparky.
Performing on stage takes mental and physical preparation. But one thing I never thought to prepare for was cervical cancer. 91% of cervical cancers are caused by the human papillomavirus, or HPV. The good news is there are vaccines that can protect you or your children from cancer. I survived my cancer, but you can stop cancer before it starts. Talk to your doctor and go to thinkaboutthelink.org to learn more.
Checking primetime headlines, President Trump commented last week on a trade war. This week, the White House and Republicans in Congress are trying to come up together on a new tariff Trump announced on steel and aluminum imports. Karen Travers has the story.
President Trump says his new tariffs on aluminum and steel imports will not spark a trade war, but it may cause a war between the White House and congressional Republicans. Both sides are digging in for a fight. President Trump isn't budging.
No, we're not backing down.
The president dismissing calls from Republican congressional leaders to not move forward on the new tariffs he announced on steel and aluminum imports. A spokeswoman for Paul Ryan says the House Speaker is extremely worried about the potential for retaliation and is urging the White House to not move forward. Ryan's office even sending reporters an email this morning highlighting early losses in the stock market and tying it to the tariffs. The president writing on Twitter Friday, trade wars are good and easy to win, but today he said he doesn't think there'll be one. European officials are strongly hinting at retaliatory tariffs, and their targets are notable. Taxes on imports of American bourbon, made in Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell's home state of Kentucky, and on Harley-Davidson motorcycles, made in Speaker Ryan's home state of Wisconsin. President Trump suggested on Twitter this morning that Canada and Mexico may be exempted from these new tariffs if the three countries can reach a new deal on NAFTA. The largest share of U.S. steel imports comes from Canada, but hours later, one of the president's top trade advisors said there would be no exemptions. Republican congressional leaders are not ruling out potential action to block President Trump from instituting these new tariffs, but this would be a major showdown. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
A former Trump campaign aide says there is no chance he'll comply with a grand jury subpoena issued by special counsel Robert Mueller. Sam Nunberg was ordered to appear before a grand jury this Friday. He says he is refusing to comply, not because he is protecting the president, but because Nunberg says investigators want him to implicate Trump ally Roger Stone. Stone issued a statement citing he is not involved and has no knowledge of any possible collusion with Russia. Nunberg was fired from the Trump campaign after a series of racist Facebook posts came to light. The infamous former drug CEO, known for hiking the price of a life-saving AIDS drug, is being forced to give up some of his prized possessions. A federal judge ordering Martin Shkreli to forfeit nearly $7.4 million as a result of his fraud conviction last year. Shkreli was convicted of fraud for deceiving investors and misusing their money while he was a portfolio manager at a hedge fund. Shkreli was on bail, but the judge threw him in jail after he offered to give anyone $5,000 for a strand of Hillary Clinton's hair. He faces up to 20 years in prison. That's all the time we have this evening. I'm Alan Cohn. Thanks for joining us. Good night.